Tea here from RuPauls Drag Race UK Season 6, and it feels bloody amazing being able to say that. Oh my goodness. But welcome to my YouTube channel. I am going to do a little series. Haven't got a name for it as of filming this right now. If I do have a name for it, then I will insert it right here. And if I do have a name for it, then we'll just sit awkwardly for a few minutes together. Now, whilst I was filming, I had heard from a few little sources that you should always bring a diary. Now, my gorgeous boyfriend Jess actually got me a diary that said, "You got this, girl," and then underneath it says Charra Tea. All I will say is, I auditioned for Drag Race a few times. I think my first year applying, I started a tape for season 2, but I literally had like 3 weeks to my name. I was in my first year uni accommodation, so it was the tiniest little room. I had maybe 2 costumes, 3 wigs, and I am so glad that I did not. Could you imagine if I was up against like Lawrence Chaney, T.S. Ahura, Ellie Diamond, all these amazing drag queens, and there's me with 3 wigs and half a uni degree? It would have been so horrendous. I then properly applied for series 3, 4 and 5, and obviously you've watched them. I wasn't there. Obviously, first things first, walking into the workroom. Now, if you know me, if you've followed me for a while, you will know that I love primary colours, red, yellow and blue. And I wanted my entrance look to obviously represent the Charra Tea brand. Gorgeous outfit that you saw me walking into the workroom was created by the incredible Malone Fashion, who is based in Manchester, but is also from Ireland. So that was really exciting that I was able to showcase an Irish designer, and the hair was created by Airhead Wigs, and they are also Irish, so that was really cool that basically head to toe I was dressed by incredible Irish creatives, which was really special to me. Not only were you introduced to me in drag this week, you also got to see my confessional look. Obviously wanted to stick with the brand red, yellow, blue, so I got a gorgeous jumper made by a very amazing Scottish designer called Gilly Jean King. She made me this cute jumper. It's giving children's TV presenter, it's giving like art teacher on acid, and I love it. It's just so me, and it's just really cute. The one thing I will say is, getting ready for Drag Race is insane. You have to do a million different things in such a short space of time. I got insanely stressed, and I had the worst eczema flare-up. Not to like bring the sob story in, that'll come, don't worry. I had the worst eczema breakout I've ever had in my life with the stress. So days before I asked the drag room, another incredible Irish creative, Irish designer, to create me a mesh bodysuit that would just kind of mask my eczema. So that was the mesh bodysuit, and then the corset and everything. I love this look. I think it's really cute. It's very Charra Tea, but it's a little bit more fashiony than what I would normally wear. I spent so long trying to decide on an entrance line. I had so many different options. So obviously, as you saw in the episode, I went for red, blue, yellow, which I just think is adorable. Because obviously I love primary colours, I'm the queen of the primary colours, I wanted my brand, but it's also me saying hello to the world. But some of my other suggestions, my other options were, I was going to walk in, put my hand on my hip and go, ouch! I heard the tea's piping hot this season, which even the thought of it is so cringy, so I'm very glad I didn't do that. And then my other option was sweet dreams are made of tea, which is like a 6 out of 10. And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but whenever we arrived, your luggage is weighed, so you're allowed a specific number of bags and luggage, and there was a weight limit. But little old me kind of thought, you know what, they're gonna not care about the weight limit. As long as I don't go crazy overboard, it'll be fine. I got there with all my bags, all my luggage, weighed it, and I was 36 kilograms over, which is a lot. So off the bat, I was a little stress head. I was so worried that I was gonna have to like throw away half my runways. But I was told that I have had the heaviest Drag Race package in history. So I had heard of Releasa before from the London scene, and already I was so intimidated because she is just such an amazing, well-rounded queen, and I knew that she was an amazing performer, and her drag style is so different to mine, so I was really excited to meet her, but I was also absolutely shitting myself. And then of course next to walk in was Zahira, and she was just an absolute bundle of energy. Zahira I actually hadn't heard of before, but she is obviously a Manchester queen, so I was really excited to meet her. She is the prettiest drag queen I've ever seen in my life. Like up close, she looks like a walking Instagram filter. It is absolutely insane. And she just came in and was throwing herself all over the floor in her lovely bodysuit and just, yeah, she was a bit crazy. Not a fan girl, but I was absolutely starstruck whenever Lavoie walked in. She is one of the biggest queens in the UK, so immediately I just thought, right, give the crown to her. Everyone else, let's just go. Chanel is another queen that I'd heard of, but I'd never met or anything. I just knew that she was really big in the Scotland scene and of course in the Manchester scene. So I was really excited to meet her. And of course the gorgeous Saki Yu. Saki was probably the queen that I knew the most because we both worked in Leeds. I lived in Leeds for about 4 years. Saki and I had only ever done one gig together, but I did know her, like, kind of well. Seeing her was absolutely bonkers, and it was kind of nice because I felt like I had a friend already. So whenever Kiki walked in, I thought, okay, this is the last queen. There's 11, great, this is fab. And then, of course, the incredible Dita Garbo walked in, and I am not joking, whenever, this sounds awful, but none of us knew who she was, but she was fierce from the get-go. In terms of looks, I think my favourites were Lil's and of course Daddy. Lil just looked absolutely beautiful. I loved Kyron's. We had the same designer actually. Milan Fashion did both of our entrances. And I also loved Marmalade's. Marmalade is another queen that I knew from Instagram, but I've never met her, never really spoken to her, but she looked absolutely beautiful. I have in my diary here what I thought of everyone, so my first impressions, and I thought that I would read through them for you. So Kyron, love. Feel like we're sisters already. Had a really nice chat in the mirror, which I will get on to a little bit later. So I had a lovely first impression of Kyron. Releasa, gorgeous, amazing icon, the first queen that I met. Lavoie, obsessed, so much knowledge, oh my god, an absolute icon, really love Lavoie. Okay, I was just looking at her arse. Dita, really good at drag, cannot believe they are so old. And not in like a shitty way, Chanel O'Connor, narrator of the season, very well spoken, beautiful, but a bit of a bitch. Which obviously I will get on to a little bit later because we all saw the first episode, we all saw what happened, but yeah. Zahira, love, so gorgeous and so full of energy. Marmalade, Marmalade, a bit boring, but really pretty. So now that I know Marmalade from getting to know her after filming, she is literally the funniest person I have ever met. So I cannot believe that my initial first impressions were that she was boring, but she is just so absolutely hilarious. I absolutely adore Marmalade. I then said Lil, obsessed, really nice. Kiki Snatch, icon, so beautiful. This next one I feel absolutely terrible about because I said Activia, giving early out vibes, but iconic. Which I feel so bad because me and Activia now are literally like this. We are the best of sisters, we were so close, but at the time I just didn't really know much about Activia. I'd heard of her, I'd seen her before, and I didn't think she'd been doing drag that long, and they were just the vibes that I got, but I feel so bad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give my good sister Activia a ring and tell her what I thought of her. Let's see if she answers. Well, this is awkward. Hello? Hello. Is this my gorgeous sister Activia? That's the one. I'm just filming a YouTube video recapping episode 1. Say hello to all my lovely viewer.
Your lovely viewer, that makes sense, because I'd just be surprised if you only had more than one.
Well, that's the joke!
Yay!
Anyway, right, basically, I'm just reading through my first impressions of everyone, and I wanted to tell you yours, if that's okay.
Okay, I think you've hinted on it.
Yeah, I have definitely told you, but reading it back, I feel so awful. I feel really bad. Activia, giving early out, but iconic.
Oh, okay. Okay. bit rude.
But
Miss. At least my, do you know what, right? At least my cabaret show was actually cabaret.
right.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Chanel there.
Sorry, I thought I was bringing Octavia, not Chanel,
Sorry,
today.
I didn't realise I was going to a Zumba class. I was going to a cabaret show, okay?
But I just want to say live on air on YouTube that I take it back, and you're not giving Earth Out vibes. You are the winner in my eyes.
Shut up.
But
You know I love you, sister. You're so cute.
thank you, sister.
Bye.
Thank you. You're so fierce. You're so fierce.
Oh, thanks. Good luck. Hopefully you can be one day.
Thanks. So obviously a massive part of episode 1 was us getting to meet RuPaul for the first time. And when I tell you, whenever RuPaul walked through those doors and said, hello, 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 I almost wet myself. Then Ru announced that this season the winner will be receiving £25,000. So for the first time in Drag Race UK history, there is a cash prize. I was going to film. This was what I was most nervous about. I was terrified because I didn't want to just write a song and be like, oh, like, I'm fierce, I'm slay, give the crown to me, Mama Ru, like, look at my hair, boo boo boo. I wanted to be a bit creative, a little bit different, and I'm gonna say it, you know what, I stand by my cabaret. I was so terrified, but to tell you what, if you were doing a workout routine in front of RuPaul, Michelle, Alan Carr, and 11 other drag queens, you would also be absolutely terrified. In terms of the other girls' cabaret, I absolutely loved Saki's. Whenever she started and her feathers came off, I thought, oh my god, my poor lead sister Saki Yu is absolutely done for. And then I realised it was all part of the joke, and I loved it. I thought it was so smart. I'd never seen anything like that before, and I just absolutely loved Saki's. I also absolutely loved Kyron's. Hers was just so crazy. It was incredible. I also loved Dita's. Afterwards, for about 4 hours straight, we were all going Dita, 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 Dita. And of course, I also loved Lil's. It was just so silly and so weird, but it was just so funny. That's the sort of drag that I love. It's just camp, out of the box, a bit strange, but you can't help but love it. And Lil is just so incredible, so creative. Then we finished her cabaret and we're getting changed in the workroom when I've properly had my first chat with Chanel. I was just sat talking away to my lead sister Saki whenever Chanel came over, and basically told me she didn't think that my cabaret was cabaret, which, you know what, fair play, have your opinion, but whenever I say, that was whenever the competition started for me, because up until then, we were all just chatting, being like, oh my god, where are you from? Oh my god, you're so fierce. Oh my god, I love your wig. This was the first moment where I was like, oh my goodness, the claws are out. This is game time. But I just wanted to make my cabaret performance me and just make it camp and silly, because that is what my drag is. And if I came out doing a crazy dance routine, I would have looked so insanely stupid. So obviously the only next best thing to do was to bring out a teacup, a tea bag, and a hula hoop. I mean, who wouldn't think to do that? Duh. I will never be able to hula hoop or drink a cup of tea ever again. We saw it Untucked. Me and Chanel, we had our moment and we cleared the air, and what I will say is now, since filming, Chanel and I have not spoken, but we're not on bad terms. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have a drag studio now, and Chanel is my next door neighbour, and we see each other like every day, and we are the best of friends. We are very close sisters, and I absolutely love Chanel. Do I have to say that? Let's move on to the runway. This week's runway was Queen of Your Hometown. Not gonna lie, whenever you think of Belfast, the only thing I think of is crap weather and the Titanic. So I was working with an amazing Belfast-based designer called Call Me Sophia, and we came up with this beautiful sketch for a gorgeous Titanic gown. I had a little feeling that episode 1 was going to be Queen of Your Hometown, and a gown, it's just not really for me. I wanted something that was cute, that was camp, that was just 100% Charra Tea, something that I could have fun with walking down the runway. So then I had a little brainstorm and I came up with this, which was of course my Derry Girls look. Whilst I'm not technically from Derry, 2 hours on a bus, but you know what? It's still Northern Irish, it's still me, it's still my hometown, so if we just ignore the fact that I don't actually live in Derry, it's fine, right? Let's get into the runways. I loved Octavia's. Her dragon, her makeup was insane, and she just looked absolutely incredible. And let's go back to my first impression. It was a complete 180 because she was in the top, I was safe, so what can I say? She looked incredible. And before the runway, she was like showing us, she was like, girls, look. And she was like, I'm vaping on the runway, I'm vaping on the runway. And she would not shut up about the fact that she was vaping on the runway. It was so adorable and it just looked incredible. I also loved the voix. She looked so camp, very panto, very like old school drag, very costumey, but I loved it. She looked incredible. And I think probably my favourite, apart from my own, was Marmalade's. And the fact that she made it herself made me absolutely despise her guts. So, some behind the scenes tea that I will probably get in trouble for saying, but before we were told who was in the top and who was in the bottom, all of us were stood in a line, shaking like a leaf. And the first thing RuPaul said was, Charra Tea. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna be like, he's like cast me by mistake or something. Like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get thrown off the show because I'm so shite. Charra Tea. He was like, next week on the runway, could you just walk a little bit slower because I'm sure it's just first week nerves. And it was just the cutest interaction. The fact that Ru had said my name, I was the first person that he had called by name, which we were all very relieved to learn that nobody was going home, which was just such a relief because I was terrified. And then of course we had our safe queens and then we had our queens in the top. I was so relieved to be in Untucked and be safe, ready to make it through to next week. And obviously, as I said, Chanel and I had our little kerfuffle, but we made up. We had a little moment. But you know what? What is Drag Race without the drama? Come on, I have no ill feelings towards Chanel. I am absolutely obsessed with her, and I love her so much. And we just made good TV, come on. But yeah, and Kyron Thrax won the first badge of the season. And not only did Kyron Thrax win the first badge, but for the first time in Drag Race UK history, Kyron won elimination. Yeah, Kyron won elimination. No, Kyron won immunity. And that brings us to the end of episode 1. And as you saw at the end of the episode, next week is the dreaded sewing challenge. Can Charra Tea sew? Can Charra Tea make a look and not be safe and maybe in the top and win her first badge? Let's find out next week, shall we? I absolutely adore my season 6 sisters and I'm so glad that the world finally gets to meet them and see how incredibly talented most of them are. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing my little recap, some behind the scenes tea. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support so far, and please make sure to watch the rest of the season and make sure to follow all of my season 6 sisters on social media, and of course me as well. Make sure to like this video, comment down below and subscribe. I've always wanted to say that and it sounds kind of camp. But yes, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!